got some new mugs.
Use new mugs. Like
I don't have. I put the other one in the cabinet already, but this one, the one I'm using, I'll show you in a second.
Is this
after my tea finishes steeping?
Here with the magic type mugs, or is this just mugs in general?
No. What kind of money do you think we have? It's a mug that I picked up at the Contemporary Resort in Walt Disney World, and I actually did not. Like, I didn't go. Not only did I not go looking for this mug, the mug came looking for me. Apparently,
did it? That had to be sort of frightening.
So this is it. It's let me hold it closer. So hold on, it'll focus.
Oh, is it? Yeah, cool.
So it has all the different colored monorails on it, and then it says on there, please stand clear of the door.
Right.
Por favor, manténgase alejado de los puertas. I can't.
De los monos en fuego.
Dude, I can't. It's like right here in front of me. I still can't read it. Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas. I think my problem is I try to say it as fast as he does each time. I'll never learn it correctly if I try to say it as fast as he's saying.
You got to start slow and then you increase.
I got to start slow.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so I'm at the Bayview Gifts store in the Contemporary Resort. BVG. BVG. Buvg.
The Buvg.
I'm going to the Buvg. Okay.
The cool kids say that.
And I get up there and I'm looking at stuff, and I do buy. Plan to buy some fun things, including another not Epcot. What am I saying? Another contemporary mug. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And that one's cool because the handle is a monorail.
Oh wow! So a lot of monorail.
Yeah, it's kind of
monorail themed items.
There. Oh, I love the monorail. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm checking out, and the cast member, whose name I think was James, or is James. I don't think he's changed his name since then.
His name used to be James. I don't know who he is now.
Right. His name is James. We're chatting it up, and he says, he asks, did you see the other monorail mug? He said it like, did you see that we got the other monorail mug back in?
Oh, though you already knew about that monorail mug.
Right.
Like,
he
who
assumed
wouldn't know
I'm in the
about
know.
that?
Like, I clearly looked like one of those people who knows.
Keeps track of the mugs. Yeah. Your mug tracker is what they call it.
Mug tracker. Yes. Yes. And I said, no. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say it like that, but I said, no, I haven't seen it. And he says, oh.
What do I look like? Some kind of mug tracker?
He said, we had it for a very brief period of time, then we sold out of them, and then it took months for us to get it back in. People kept coming in and saying, do you have this yet? Do you have this yet? And he would say, no, we don't have it yet. And now, finally, it came back in. Just this week. Maybe it was the day before even. And he said, I don't know how long we'll have them. There was a woman who came and bought one today. And I thought that was weird that he said, like, bought one today. And I said, oh, he says, let me see if we still have it. Let me see if I can find one. So, okay, James, great. So he goes and he looks and he comes back. He's like, oh, I don't see them. Maybe it's over here. So he goes and looks in the other spot. It's not there. And he comes back and he says, oh, I guess maybe we sold out again. And at this point, another cast member comes up. I forget her name. Let's say it's Amy. I don't know what her name is.
They're all named James.
Says Jamie. And she says hi and everything. And he explains about the mug. And she says, oh, yeah, it should be right over here. And he says, oh, I looked over there. And she goes and looks anyway. Good for her. You know, like, woman after my own heart. Like,
she's gonna check in.
Yeah, don't trust anybody. Yeah.
No,
so she goes and looks. It's not there. Then she goes and looks at the other spot. In the meantime, he's checking me out and like wrapping the stuff that has to be wrapped. And there's a queue forming behind me that I'm aware of. And she comes back and she says, "Oh, it's not over there." He says, "Yeah, I think maybe we sold out again. I just sold one to this lady today." And again, the lady today, as if she's the barometer for whether they have them or not. And she says, "Let me go check with Scott. Let me go check with Scott downstairs."
Bringing Scott into
downstairs. Like, oh, Scott downstairs.
Yeah.
This is getting serious. I don't know what role he really has specifically, but Scott downstairs is the guy they're going to call to see if they have this mug still.
Yeah, when you got to talk to downstairs, it's serious.
Downstairs, exactly. And so she goes and disappears. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh no, I got a queue behind me.
Right. And that's the last thing you want to see is when the person that's attending you leaves for some reason.
And I know they can hear what's going on. Like, oh no, this guy, they're looking for a mug.
This is a mug tracker. Goodness.
You know they're regretting the choice of register at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Should I go to the other register? I don't know.
Yeah, is it worth, Yeah,
I just want to get, they're probably buying some fudge or something.
Risk management thing.
Yeah. So she's gone. He's finishing up his wrapping protocol. I pay, check out. Just as I'm checking out, she comes back. She's talked to Scott, apparently. No go. Not downstairs.
Oof.
I said, it's okay. I appreciate you looking for it. She says, let me just check one more. So she goes back to the other spot, the spot that they both looked already. Around the corner. I'm dying. Now I'm holding the line and not purchasing anything because I've already checked out.
Yeah.
I can feel the stairs burning a hole in the back of my head. So lo and behold, she emerges with this mug.
Awesome.
She says, I found it. And James says, it was meant to be.
This was all an elaborate sort of play to get you to buy the mug.
It was meant to be. And I thought to myself, well, now I have no choice but to buy it.
And I think that was the goal all along.
No, because he said this was a different purchase. There was another purchase where somebody went out of their way. This was over in what's the toy shop across where they have the pins.
Oh,
and there was a pin over there. And this woman, she was all excited about this woman cast member. She was all excited about this pin that they had that I wasn't looking at. Oh, have you seen this one? And blah, 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 blah. And she's telling me all about it. And then I said, well, I'll buy that one too. And she's, you want this?
You've been espousing the wonderful qualities of this pin for an hour.
Right, I feel like I'm going to be I'm a schmuck if I don't actually buy it now at this point.
I feel like I'm insulting you. If I'm like, no, whatever you think is good, I don't want to be any part of that.
I know. So I owe James, good guy. James is a good guy.
Yeah, that's a cool mug too. No, I don't.
Thanks.
It looks like there are some solid colored monorails on there.
I know they don't really exist in the wild.
Just making sure that there wasn't like a year where they had crazy monorails that I wasn't aware of.
No, I think they just did it to change up the look on the mug. But instead of having a monorail with a green stripe going down, they just made the whole thing green. I don't know.
It'd be cool if they had
it's
like
cool.
the
and it's bumpy. I don't know if you can appreciate that.
Yeah, it looks like there's some topography going on there.
Yeah. It's too hot to hold it like that. But if I could hold it, it would be a lovely texture. The handle's nice. What mug handles? Mug handles. I don't. Sometimes I worry I'm not holding it correctly.
Yeah.
I'm 49 years old, and I worry about whether I'm holding a mug handle correctly. Because sometimes I'm holding one, and they come in different sizes and shapes and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I'm holding them sometimes, and it just doesn't feel stable, and it doesn't, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hurts because the weight is all out of balance. Like the center of gravity is too far out from where the
like if the handle is too big, then the cup itself is like a good inch and a half away from your hand.
Or sometimes it's the tiny ones that like they're too narrow at the bottom. It's like the high heels of mug handles, where they get real narrow. Not that I've worn high heels, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but visually it looks like I can imagine what toes must feel all squinched up in a little point.
Yeah.
Like, well, this one, I mean, I can fit three fingers in there. I'm talking about the mug. I can't. But it's still not. I still have to use my pinky to give a little balance underneath.
See, I almost feel like if you can get 3 fingers in there, that's almost like you can get too many fingers in there. You know what I mean? Because if I'm holding it too much,
I usually use 2, and then balance it on my ring finger.
And then the ring finger is on the outside of the handle, providing sort of forward. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's right.
Well, I think whatever works for you is certainly right. But I get what you're saying, though, because like especially those really big handles, because you've added this, like any movement by your hand, since that handle puts the cup so far away from your hand, it's like a lever. It's the cup itself is moving so much more on even the smallest movement of your own hand, and that's really weird.
Well,
especially
some people
if you
like
got
the big
liquid
handle
in there.
Some people like the big opening because they want to have the option of putting their hand around it. They do the like cup it thing, especially if it's a cold day and
your coffee or whatever is way too cool if you're able to do that.
You're wearing mittens, of course.
I think that's kind of a fringe thing design.
I mean, that's what it looks like. It's what it looks like
around that situation is a little strange. Well, what if they're wearing mittens?
In my head, it's not just mittens. It's actually those little gloves, like woven gloves that have the finger holes, like their fingers are extending through them. Right. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a 40s hobo.
That's a Hallmark commercial.
Seems like 40s hobos always had some kind of fingerless hand sweaters.
That was for the touch screens.
Right, because,
they were onto something.
Yeah. I like the kind of mug handle that's kind of straight at the top and then goes down, because I find that if I get a good thumb purchase up there, then I feel a lot more stable.
Yeah. This has Hey, why don't they do that? There should be a little thumb indentation spot, like
those big old honking like pint mugs.
Park your thumb here.
Yeah. Because and I do, like, every morning I'll go and get coffee, and then I'll come down here to read the internet or whatever. And
you mean you read the internet? Not on this show?
No, I don't. I don't do the Jason, as they call it. That's it. Do the Jason. But that was my impression of the hustle.
That was good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty spot on. But I have to go down those stairs with a just filled mug of coffee. And why? Well, because I got my coffee and now I'm coming down here to read the internet in the morning.
Why don't you do that from the kitchen?
Well, because my computer and stuff is down here. And this is more comfortable. I have my chair and I can chill out.
That's interesting.
And all of that.
What do you do when you need to refill the coffee?
Well, I go back upstairs to refill it.
Oh, God.
But I only have like 2 cups a day, so it's fine.
Okay.
But I find that walking down the stairs with hot coffee in the coffee mug.
Well, especially your stairs with your track record.
Right. My stairs with my track record, and the fact that I woke up fairly recently. My fine motor skills have not booted all the way up, let's say. And so walking down the stairs is not as smooth as one would want. And so I have to really get that arm gimbal thing going, trying to make sure that the coffee mug doesn't move. And things like a big long handle like that only make things worse, because now, like, a little bit of jitter here and there is translates to a heck of a lot of movement on the coffee mug side, and
it does. I'm sure there's a mathematical formula to figure
that's
out
some physics right there.
But
because the fulcrum is your wrist, right?
I don't know. Have you fallen down? Not fallen. Have you tripped, slid, had an incident with carrying coffee on the stairs?
Coffee? No. I mean, I have not exactly tripped, but I've when I'm trying to do the ninja on the balls of your feet, lower your heel to the ground, slowly, kind of, stepping lightly down the stairs. I have accidentally brought the foot down a little hard, and coffee has ejected rather dramatically.
And you think, man.
Yeah, because and it always happens 2 steps from the bottom. And so if I want to get paper towels, I have to go all the way back up to get the paper towels, and then come all the way back down to mop up the coffee. And
you don't keep any paper towels down there?
Not in my office. No, that's the only time I really need them. So if I can keep the coffee spillage to a minimum.
No paper towels in your office?
No.
Nothing in the garage there?
No.
Wow.
I got toilet paper.
You don't have a rapid response system if you have spillage, do you? It's going to be
well. That's my point. Is I try to keep spillage to a minimum, and it's mostly successful.
Well, sure, but that's like saying I try to keep accidents to a minimum. But that's why they call them accidents.
No, true, but so far it's the rapid response paper towels have served me well in the kitchen.
Buddy, by now I would, if I was in your situation, I would not only have paper towels downstairs, I would have a coffee maker downstairs. I would have.
I've contemplated that. Yeah.
No need to go back up the stairs.
Microwave down here.
Down. That's it. Yeah, we're done here. I think. And do you, when you're reading the internet, do you have a laptop, or are you doing it from a desktop?
Yes. My laptop is connected to a docking station that turns it into a desktop, basically.
So where does your laptop live at night? Do you leave it down in your office, or do you take it upstairs with you? Okay.
No, I leave it down here. Any sort of browsing and whatnot that happens elsewhere in the house is typically done either on my iPad or my phone.
And you're up first typically, right?
Oh yeah.
So you get that golden hour where you can get up and have your coffee, and read the internet and not be disturbed, right?
Right. And have the there are times when I'm down here and Emily's on the second floor doing her thing, and it's still not the same as that, right? I mean, I'm sure you're fully aware of this. Is that the difference between having somebody be asleep and you having kind of the entire house to yourself, even though you're only using the amount of the house you usually use when you are by yourself, there's still a difference. I don't feel like somebody else somewhere in the house may actively want something or need something at any given time that might put an end to my sort of silent repose here, and no, it's nice and lovely, and I enjoy 6 to 7:30 or so.
It's as God intended, really.
It really is. It really is.
It is a beautiful thing. I totally know what you're talking about. Even when this is the person you love, this is the person you're committed to, this is the person you've chosen to be with and share the same home.
Mm-hmm. And yet,
the minute that you are reminded of their existence,
the glass shatters and you're back to reality.
it's like the record needle, oh God, right? I don't know why. I don't know what it is. And this is why I think if I was you, man, I think I would park my laptop. My routine would be I carry the laptop up with me when I'm finished in the office. I have a spot on the counter or something where it plugs in and charges if it needs to be, but they don't really need to do that anymore. And in the morning, I get up and I do my thing and I come and I make coffee and I'm going to sit in the kitchen. The kitchen, which is usually not a place where you can sit without being bothered. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just sit there and just bask in the luxury of the entire kitchen being mine. And I can just swivel around and pour some more coffee if I want. And as soon as I hear a pitter patter of feet, a little suspect sound that indicates someone may be waking up, I'm down the steps.
Oh, that's when you retreat to the
I'm out of there.
sanctorum.
See you later. Gone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a bad plan. It's just the chair down here is so much more comfortable than the chairs up there. If we're talking about the kitchen, now the couch is great and the chairs around the couch are great. But if we're talking about the kitchen,
you can't. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no. You can't sit on a couch in the morning and read the internet. That
doesn't work.
No. And for me, I like having spaces that are only used for limited purposes. So the kitchen, which is usually where you eat or entertain or both, right? The kitchen to be used for the purpose of browsing the internet is a special and holy thing because it's like the time you have together alone. And then the work and stuff is done in the office and creative things and whatever. But that period where you're just kind of coming online, getting your senses back, starting that day. God, I missed that. I gotta. The problem is to achieve that, you have to not only get up early, but you have to have some standard in your house where at this point in time, no one else is going to be awake.
Right.
So I just have to beat them. I just have, right? Yeah. But I don't have that regularity in my house. Like I can't guarantee that, at 6 a.m. I'll be the only one up. Mm-hmm. And then there's the dogs.
Yeah, I was about to say that throws an X factor into things too, because they're probably okay to get up pretty much any time you do.
They'll wake me up. They'll sit there staring at me, sometimes whining. But I can hear the stare.
Oh yeah,
I can hear the stare. Yeah. And once one wakes up and decides it's time to eat, then the other one is very interested in joining in, and so that's it. And so that is my every morning. That's my every morning. My every morning is the dogs deciding when I'm going to wake up, and then now we're up. Now we're up, and everything I do from that point forward is really built around not waking anyone else up.
Right.
So I have to have this little meeting with the dogs where I remind them that our mission is to be quiet, which is almost impossible. So then I have to do things to get ahead of the curve so that they won't bark.
Right.
Like grab a treat or something, so that when they go outside to go to the bathroom and Sophie decides it's time to play and wants to bark, and at Luna typically, I'm like, no, here's a treat. Don't wake anybody up.
It's kind of strangely like being on the bomb squad or something. That's like you're trying not to set anything off. And
that is my entire existence, Marcus. My entire existence is about not trying to say, and being sleuthy. Did they see me? Are they going to see me? Don't.
Got to be a one-man bomb squad. A ninja bomb squad.
I feel bad about these things. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like, why is it that I will sometimes go out of my way to avoid talking to somebody that I actually like?
Man, you do you, man. It's nothing to feel bad about there.
I just don't want to talk. I just don't want to talk.
Right. Yeah. There's sometimes when you just don't. I don't want to interface with anybody right now.
But I feel bad. Like, I actually like this person.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah. Just don't do it to me. That's all.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of like that morning thing. I mean, we love these people, but really just please leave us alone for this hour.
Yeah, I mean, enjoying your solitude. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you hate everybody else that isn't you.
No, I think it's when the solitude extends into like long swaths of time where my insistence of solitude maybe stretches into like 9:30 or maybe 10.
And do you feel like?
And then I want to go out and exercise or walk or something, but by myself.
Yeah. Now you want to be active alone.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's a horrible thing. I don't know what's wrong.
They're punishing people with solitary confinement. What does that make? Sense does that make?
I would love to be that. Oh, you're saying if yep.
I can't see how that's possibly a punishment at all.
I think there's something lovely about the idea that two people can sit in one another's presence and actually not talk to each other.
Yeah, and
not because they don't have anything to say, but just because they want to be with the other person, but they just cannot deal with like a conversation right now.
Yeah.
I want to read.
I mean, that's the whole introvert thing, right? Is that like the biggest compliment an introvert can pay you is coming and being entirely to themselves close to you, because that means that they like you, they value you. They're still not talking to you. They're still not talking at all. They're still engrossed in their phone or a book or something, but that they want to do it in, somewhere close to you is actually rather sweet, even though a lot of people don't get that. But I spent a lot of years as an introvert, so I pretty much still am one. I just am loud.
I'm just I'm a loud introvert. I'm a loud introvert. Yeah, I get it. I really don't. For anyone listening, if you're wondering what gifts we like, you don't have to be an introvert to gift that. In fact, we may prefer the extroverts to gift that too.
The
gift of being near but not saying anything.
Right, yeah. A lot of times we definitely want the extroverts to gift that.
That's what I'm saying. And there's a secret little dance that you have to do with people where, I don't know, you just know when it's the time to talk. The thing, I love her, but the one thing that Michelle does, she will, and God bless her for trying. She will,
in general,
she will try to not interrupt or not break my train of thought or whatever I'm doing. But I can feel her staring at me. Mm-hmm. I can feel I can feel her waiting for the moment to ask me a question.
Right.
And then that in and of itself breaks. It's like just being interrupted. And I don't know the way around that.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I am so sensitive to I don't know, like whatever.
It's like
maybe I have ESP.
It's like when people are doing the double Dutch jump rope and the one person is trying to get their timing right to get in there. That's kind of what she's doing with her question. It's just like waiting to see, like, now. Mm-hmm. But you see her trying to get the timing right over there, and then it's like she might as well have just said, all right, I'm going to stop you right there. Here's a question.
Right. And I can't, it's so hard to convey this to somebody who doesn't feel the same way, but there's something literally painful about that moment when you're doing something, whether it's reading or doing some work or doing something creative, which also could be work, and trying to figure something out. And the moment you realize that somebody else needs you, wants you, is going to say something.
Yeah. And they're not. They're wanting to. That's it.
Then everything stops. The pain begins. and there's the pain of okay, I'm stopping what I'm doing. And now I'm anticipating future pain too, because now I realize I'm going to have to figure out where I left off, where I was, what my train of thought was. I am also probably being interrupted to answer a question, which means I now have to think, I have to make a decision about something, or have an opinion about something, or do research for somebody. Right?
Yeah.
And so now I am helping someone else. Like I'm not living for me anymore. I'm living for somebody else in that moment. And I hear the words coming out of my mouth, Marcus, and I sound like a jerk. I get it. I understand.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
But there are people listening who know exactly what I'm talking about, and they're secretly saying to themselves, yes, I know exactly what he means. I hate that. And this is the conundrum, because you're with a human being that you love and you want to be with, and you do want to have conversations. You just not at that moment in time.
Yeah, yeah.
And to Michelle's point, she would then, which she will probably say when she listens to this, she'll be shouting back at the screen, you are always like this. There is never a time. And she would be right. I don't know, except when I'm not. I don't
yeah, and
sometimes I'm.
Can you hold up a flag or something when you're not? So
I just need to be in that mode. I need to be in that mode. Like if we're in conversation mode, okay, we're in conversation mode. Mm-hmm. If we're in even taking a walk together mode, I'm actually very talkative. If we're walking together, I actually get annoyed if the other person isn't also contributing to the conversation. Mm-hmm. But if I'm walking alone, I don't want anyone in the world to bother me.
Right. True.
Right. It's the expectation. It's this, I can set everything aside and have a conversation. Mm-hmm. I can, we can do that at dinner. We can do it. I just want to know, okay, are we finished with that chapter? Mm-hmm. And are we back to the chapter of, okay, I'm going to have this time to myself?
It was about modes, I suppose. Like what mode are you in?
It's very binary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the switching back and forth. I think that's what it is. And also the people.
Kind of strangely tangential, because I'm thinking about the whole getting your timing right to ask somebody something or interrupt somebody. When you're saying something to somebody and you're clearly not being understood, either through you're not articulating very well or you're speaking very low or something like that, does it bother you that they go, huh, before you've finished saying what you're saying? I get weirdly frustrated at that, and I have no idea why.
I'm trying to think of an example.
If I'm saying, hey, I want to go down the street and check out the new ice cream place or something. Mm-hmm. And if I go, hey, I want to go down the street, and you go, huh, right then, and I don't finish the sentence, for whatever reason, and it makes absolutely no sense, because if I'm not being understood, there's no point in me continuing this. I need to know that I'm not being understood in order to get this. The whole point of me starting this sentence to begin with was to convey this to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and communicate. And if that's not happening, then logically, I should want to know as soon as somebody is going, you're trying to communicate and it's not successful. You may want to start over a little louder. But for whatever reason, something in my idiot brain goes, will you let me finish before you tell me to repeat myself? I mean, it's not explicit like that, but obviously that's what my brain is thinking because I get annoyed. It's just a flash and I go, no, that's stupid. Huh? But for whatever reason, for some reason, I feel like, well, you didn't let me finish. It's like, well, you didn't even start as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. There's little things like that just give me that flash of annoyance and they make no sense whatsoever.
I get that. I don't know that I've ever experienced that. What I experience is the revisionist situation where someone will say something and I didn't understand part of what they said. Usually it's the end of the sentence or something that I hear what they're saying and then didn't understand that last word or the last two words. I trailed off or something, and I'll say, "Wait, what was that?" And then, what is the last thing you said? And then they will repeat it, the whole thing, but change the ending. Like it's clearly not the version that I heard. This
you didn't
is
hear what they
2.
said, but the sounds definitely don't match. So they're saying something different than they said the first time.
Right. So now I'm angry because I'm like, no. I want to know what you said previously.
Right. Yeah.
Because it wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't that I couldn't comprehend the words you used. It's just that I didn't hear you. So it's like you don't have to use smaller words for me.
I don't know why.
Whoa there, Lord Byron. Can we back it up a little bit?
Right.
Let's take the syllabic content down just a tad, okay?
And then there's the pain that I inflict on people on a regular basis, which is I know this. I know that I will engage passively in a conversation where someone at the same table will be telling someone else something, or they will be telling me something or asking me a question even. That's the worst. They'll ask me a question, and I apparently will provide some sort of answer, acknowledgement, whatever. And about 30 seconds later, I realize, like, the conscious brain gets some sort of little message saying, wait, what did I just agree? Like, what did Doofus back there agree to? Like, we need to...
Yeah.
Well, you got to clear it with me.
I think past Jason just did something that we weren't aware of.
Right. So back the bus up. Let's talk about this for a second. What were you saying? I'll say it. What were you saying? And then, of course, they're annoyed. Not only did I seem to be listening, but I was nodding or said yes or whatever. And now, and I wasn't really there.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah.
I think it's a defense mechanism as somebody who doesn't want to be bothered.
Right.
It's a defense. You will believe that I am listening to you. I will engage in a conversation, and it's like it's like a bird brain or fish brain or whatever. Half my brain is shut down. Half my brain is not paying attention. It's paying attention to something else. So you get the other half, and this other half is just like, It's basically Weekend at Bernie's. It's
right.
like, okay. But something at some point, the conscious brain begins to get the memos of the things that were said and agreed upon, and then wakes up and says, okay, wait, I need to intervene here because I don't know what you just agreed to. So we need to stop what we're doing and now ask.
Right.
Yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. Wait, what?
What?
Now I can't trust that you're listening ever at all now. Because used to be saying, yeah, meant you were listening. You just proved to me that that's not necessarily the case. Great.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
So I went for a walk, and guess what? I'm walking along the sidewalk, and I spot a turtle.
Turtle.
Now here's the dilemma. This turtle is heading away from the lake. He has just about crossed and cleared the sidewalk that I'm walking on. He'll soon be entering that grassy area between the sidewalk and the curb.
Right.
And I don't know what his plan is from there.
Yeah.
If his plan is to cross the road, it's probably not going to end well.
Right.
But I think to myself, well, maybe I should pick him up and move him back.
Yeah.
Right. To where it's safe zone, and point him maybe back at the lake or something. But then I think to myself, number one, I don't want to get bit. I don't know how bendy their necks are. Probably not, but
not terribly.
Number two, I don't want to, what if I pick him up and I move him and he's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
It took me like
what if his house is over there?
Get from there to here. Now I gotta go. Like,
I was going home. No, I'm an hour further away from home than I was.
Right. Smart enough to know, like, dude, this is what I do every morning. Why did you move him back here? Like, what? What are you, because it's not my normal route. So for all I know, that this is happening all the time. I don't know. And then I also remembered about that lost turtle sign that I saw months and months ago. Do you remember that? I don't remember what episode we talked about that, but there was somebody who posted a sign saying lost turtle, and there was a reward associated with it. Yeah. And it was like a lot. And it was like, I forget, hundreds of dollars or something for this reward for finding this turtle. And I thought to myself, I wonder if this is the turtle. What if this is the turtle? Should I take it? So what do I do?
You finally find him and like, here's your turtle.
Now I'm imagining myself where like I pick the turtle up, I bring it back into the grass, and now I have to put a foot on him or something to hold him still while I search through my phone to try to find the picture of that sign, right? And then I call them, and then they say, "No, you idiot, no."
Yeah, we got him back months ago.
Yeah, or this is totally not the right time. And all these things are going through my head, and I can't. I just kept going.
Just let things. Trust that the turtle knows what he's doing. Basically,
it bothers me because now I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to intervene and create a problem, but at the same time, I don't want to not intervene and know that this turtle didn't get returned home or was injured or killed or whatever. This happened last week on I almost said Rio del Tiempo. It's but it's not now. It's Grand Fiesta Tour.
Yeah.
The
boat ride in Mexico.
Attraction, the boat ride exactly in the Mexico Pavilion in Epcot Center.
Yeah, not the actual Mexico, but
fake Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And so in the row in front of me was a family, and the boy who was directly in front of me, because I was on the end and he was on the end on the left side of the boat. He had some, I don't know, like, autistic thing going on, something. And the parents had hit like the sound dampening headphones on, and he would take them off sometimes to hear something and put them back on. And he was kind of loud. I mean, everything was fine.
Yeah.
But, that was happening. And so we get towards the end, and the first thing that happens is he starts to put his hand like outside the boat, touching things that you're not supposed to touch.
Right.
And this is in the area where the boats begin to stack up, waiting to.
Oh yeah.
Right. So then he's touching the water, and now I'm worried. Oh, his hand. What if the boat shimmies to the left? He's going to pinch his fingers. It's not going to be good. And then he pulls his hand out and it's fine. And then we move forward a little bit more and we're in that area where they have the special sign now saying, like, do not stand up, do not exit here. Mm-hmm. Like, wait until you get up to the spot, because apparently somebody probably did get out early, or it happens on a regular basis.
Every one of those signs has a story.
Right, exactly. And so I literally think to myself, oh, he's gonna want to get up because there's a platform right there, right next to him.
Yeah, it looks like you can get up.
I know it's coming. I don't know this kid, but I know it's coming. And the father who was sitting next to him, and there's another child on the other side of the father, and then there's the mom. The father's in his bag doing something, so he's not paying as much attention as he was before. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the most dangerous part of the attraction. This is where you need to, not that it's a dangerous
attraction. Grand Fiesta
tour. Right. There was that scene where the chef's like sharpening his knives.
This is the most dangerous part of Small World.
But what happens, you're stacking up for those who aren't familiar. When you come in, the first thing you do is, if you're waiting to exit the boat, if you're waiting for your opportunity to exit the boat, you are waiting behind another boat, and so you are going to ram the boat in front of you.
Yeah, you're in a multi-boat pileup.
And then there's a boat behind you at some point that's going to ram into you,
yep.
And then eventually a boat's going to ram into it, and that's going to create a reverberation, right? Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. It's just physics. Yep. Okay, everybody's experienced that.
Fiesta boats.
So it's about this point where he stands up. He stands up, like he's standing up. Mm-hmm. And not just standing up, but I think he may have even been standing on the seat. You know how you have to stand on the seat to actually get out. And we're about to move, or things are happening, and the cast member and I'm watching this. He's right in front of me, and I'm watching this all happen. The cast member saying, "Please sit down. Please sit down." The guy, "Please sit down." The father's not noticing any of this happening. The mom's not noticing any of this happen. And all I can think of is, I was going to say a different word, but there's no right solution for me here, because if I grab the kid, he's going to lose his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And the parents probably would too.
Right. If I say something to him, he's got the headphone things on. If I say something, he might not even hear me.
Right.
If I tap the father on the shoulder or something, it may actually cause him to turn around and knock the kid down. Mm-hmm. That's how the situation kind of was stacked. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So all I could do is just be prepared for when the boat takes off and he comes tumbling back at me. I'm going to catch him. I got you, buddy. I got you. My compatriots, whose names will not, to protect the innocent and the guilty, will not be named, but the people who were with me, like the parents and friends, were completely oblivious to what was happening. In fact, the person on the rightmost of the boat was trying to say something to me or trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
dude,
stop.
I've got to concentrate.
I'm trying to save a life here. Just wait. And after the attraction was over, I got off and I mentioned it, and they say, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." I'm like, I know.
You don't have to tell me that. Not only did I notice it, I noticed that you didn't notice it.
What is this? I don't understand the world.
Yeah.
Why? I have a feeling. You know that Marvel movie that wasn't that great, but it was okay. The
Eternals?
Everlasting Gobstoppers, or whatever it's called.
Yes, the Everlasting Gobstoppers. Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, the Eternals. I feel like there is some segment of the human population who we have been not just gifted but also burdened by this responsibility that yes, we're going to give you the power, the ability to save lives, to see danger when other people don't see it, to recognize things that other people may just be oblivious to, right? That will make you safer and the people around you safer. But
it'll stress you the hell out.
You will always be You will never rest. You will always be worried. You will always be wondering. You'll always be watching. Right? This is the thing. This is it. This is how you're going to live. Yes, you will see the thing that's unfolding 2 blocks away, and you will be like Doctor Strange and think of all the various scenarios that could be playing out. Right? But have fun with that.
Yeah. It's almost like a weird version of, was it Cassandra in mythology where she's doomed to know the future, but also no one will believe her?
Oh, jeez. I didn't know that. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I think that's right, Cassandra. Wow. But it's kind of like that. It's
Cassandra
like I see
it's not a very Greek name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alexandra
I just remember the curse. I don't remember the person, but yeah, it's a lot like that. It's sort of like you'll see the danger coming, but you'll be in a position where you can't really do a lot about it, and you'll never truly be convinced that the danger is happening. So your desire to not embarrass yourself also plays into this. Yeah, it's a whole. Yeah. A whole thing.
Right, because if you raise the alarm, you have now affected the situation, so the thing that you feared won't happen, most likely.
Right.
But the person on the receiving end
is going to act like it was never going to happen.
Of course it wasn't. I mean, of course, I know. Like, yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah,
you can't know the counterfactual. Like the cake in the oven.
Right.
If he had noticed that there was cake in the oven before, and he had said, "Why did you put this cake in the oven? It could have caught fire. I could have started the oven." And then the other person says, "Oh, I was going to pull it out before you started the oven."
Right. Yeah.
Or I knew you would see it in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. They
don't
understand, Marcus. They don't appreciate what we do for them.
Right. Exactly.
How many lives do we save?
It's the whole IT thing, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago. It's like if nothing happens, it's because they're doing their job. So like, you're acting like they didn't do nothing because nothing goes wrong. But nothing goes wrong because they don't do nothing. They do things. They help.
Right. And there's no appreciation for our paranoia.
And not just doing the things to keep bad things from happening, but also just the enormous stress that we're under all the time.
All the time.
Because of this. Because we have decided to take responsibility for people at large.
How many mugs do I move back a little away from the edge? How many times have I moved the food away from the edge of the counter? How many times have I reminded someone you didn't lock your door?
Right.
You didn't. You might want to pay attention to your kid. Yeah. Just saying. So on, I don't know what day it was. We have not been happy with our dry cleaner situation.
Oh, yeah?
And so for a long time, we've been talking about trying a new dry cleaner. The dry cleaner here, I've had great dry cleaners in my life, and I've had pretty bad dry cleaners in my life. Mm-hmm. And these dry cleaners, these are people who are, I don't know, they have some name like, the world's best dry cleaner or amazing dry cleaner or something
hyperbolic.
Anytime you say that, you have to say, okay, they're going to be terrible.
Right. Yeah. It's compensating.
I want pretty good dry cleaner. Like, yeah, we're okay dry cleaners. Oh, you know what?
Average dry cleaners.
Average. Well, no, that might be bad because the problem is that the attention to detail is really, really bad. So when I get things back that are pressed, there's weird creases in places.
Oh, yeah.
And the collars, they just don't do the job correctly. Yeah. Sometimes it's like they got on 95% there, and then they threw in this weird errant crease.
Yeah.
And why? Why did you do that? Because you weren't paying attention. That's why. So Michelle was fed up and said, I'm going to find a dry cleaner. So the dry cleaner in Winter Garden, not in this because we were going to the Windermere there. So dry cleaner Winter Garden, we can try. It's on the way to my mother's. And okay, let's try that. So she takes the stuff there the other day. Mm-hmm. And she goes in. And there's also this thing that dry cleaners do where they use your telephone number as the user ID or something in the database. And they always want to dispense with the area code too. I will tell them the area code and they just like, yeah. What's that? Because I'll say 410 and you can see they're waiting. And then no, they like the next, they don't care about the area code. They just want the main digits, which is weird. Okay. I always thought that was weird. Good. But wait for it. Because Michelle goes to this dry cleaner and she says, and they ask, I think, have you been here before or something? And she says, I don't actually know exactly what they said. They asked for her phone number. I think then she says, I haven't been here before. They said, give me your phone number.
Yep.
And so she gives the phone number and then they say, oh, Michelle Knapp. And she thinks to herself, oh no. This is the same this is the same
chain
system.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And so she says, God bless her. She says, wait, are you guys the same company as this other dry cleaner? Mm-hmm. And they say, yeah, it's basically a franchise where it's a front, man. They receive the clothes. They don't do anything there. They send them all out. What? To the central service. Yes, it's like the private label of dry cleaning or something. They all the dry cleaning goes to this central facility, or or not even just dry cleaning, but anything that needs to be washed and pressed or whatever. And they do that stuff there, and then they send it all back to the places. It's a hub and spoke system.
Weird. And then, so the other one was also just a spoke in this hub and spoke
apparently
system.
They also, that's what I said to Michelle. So that's all they do. She said, well, the other place did some tailoring, but yeah, they don't actually do any of the dry cleaning in the place.
So if you're getting crap service from one of them, you're going to get the exact same crap service from all of them.
Yep. Ugh. And so now I'm thinking, oh, how do we navigate this? So Michelle, God bless her, she tells them, well, I was actually was trying to leave that company. She said they don't.
Those guys suck. So what you're telling me is you suck too.
Yeah, she's like, make a note, please, that I'm not happy with the service. And this is,
I love it.
And I don't know if we're gonna get anything different. She still dropped the clothes off there, so I don't know. But I don't know how you discover that. How do you even find that out? How do you find out that anything? Henry was saying this to me earlier. I don't know if this is true or not, but he said, that basically all I know is eyeglasses or eyeglass frames are essentially made by the same company. And I knew this about OLED TVs that it's the same company that makes all the
panels themselves.
Yeah. And so I know that kind of thing happens, and then they private label them. But it does worry me when there's a product or a service that you don't want, that you're trying to avoid. And so you try to find a competitor, and no, It's the same thing. Well, you have no recourse. I mean, this is just un-American.
It's anti-competitive. That's a monopoly right there.
But it's like hidden. It's like this hidden monopoly. It's like the iceberg of monopolies.
Yeah.
Right? It's weird.
Because it's like 3 or 4 different branches of the same company, but all 4 of them are named something different. So you think you're going to a different place, but it's the exact same place.
A1 dry cleaning, amazing dry cleaning, the best dry cleaning.
And kind of crappy dry cleaning.
Kind of crappy cleaning.
Turns out it's all the same.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna
so there's
come
still
back.
the guy in there. The whole job is to put that one weird crease in all of the shirts.
Right. It's probably one person who's doing it, and no one knows that they're doing it. And it doesn't matter. You can't tell because you're not losing business, because every time somebody shifts to a different place, it's all coming back to the same place.
Yeah, what do you care? Yeah.
So you're never really losing. You don't detect any change in the volume.
No. Just how many shirts go to which distribution point.
Right. Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes you want to go into the dry cleaning business, doesn't it? I keep telling Michelle, you should get a job here. You should get a job there. You should get a job. Because this is the kind of that's what she wants to do. She wants to go work in a dry cleaner or work at some sweatshop. Well, because I'm unhappy about a crease.
I mean, maybe this is just me being a data analyst guy, but the fact that they're using a area code-less phone number as a customer primary key scares the bejesus out of me. There's so many things wrong with that if like your business thinks that's good practice, then I have to wonder about what else is going on in this business. Because not only is the phone number the worst thing that you can use to identify a patron, because it's very easy to get a new phone with a new number. Yeah. But you're also cutting out 3 digits of it that are there specifically to make it unique. I know. You're cutting off freaking like almost a third of this number. It's like, well, I only need the first 3 digits of your zip code. No, you need the whole thing, because that's the point.
Good luck with that. Exactly. I don't know. I think it's a local thing. I remember in California when I went to Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and they do that marketing thing at the end. Can we get your phone number? And I don't know why I don't say no. You know, I can say no. Yeah. But I don't want to introduce conflict into an otherwise pleasant situation. I don't want to be that guy that says no. Yeah. Can I get your phone number? Can I get your phone number? And so
just make up a number.
But what would happen? I would start to say the number. They would start keying it in. I can see the screen. Yeah. They would key in the local area code, and then think that the number I'm giving them was like the area code I'm giving them was the first 3 numbers of the rest of the phone number. Yeah. And I have to correct them.
Like they were assuming the area code?
Yes.
Like in 1985. Okay.
That was exactly.
It's probably a decent bet that whatever the area code of the store is, the area code of the customer is going to be the same. Right. However,
but I have a Colorado Springs area code. Michelle has a Baltimore area code.
Yeah, mine's from Mississippi.
Alex has a Baltimore area code. Henry has a California area code on the cell phone. Like we all have different area codes for the most part, because we got our phones established, those numbers established in different places at different times. Yeah. And you don't get rid of the phone number.
No.
So by now, people should realize that
my phone number is like 14 years old. And I've moved like 4 times.
My phone number is almost driving. It's like, phone numbers at puberty.
My phone number keeps interrupting me when I'm trying to talk.
My phone number's about to lose its digit. Can't even hold a mug anymore. Well, I have one last. I don't know if you. I don't know. I'm just going down my list because.
Yeah, go for it.
Why not? I don't know. I don't want to take too much more time, but the other. I think this happened. This was on Saturday. No, it wasn't. This was on Friday. I was driving home, and I am at a light, and I realize that there are people in the middle of the street. It's that twilight period, so it's not quite dark, but it's not daylight. And is it twilight at night? At the end of the day, is that twilight also? Okay, so but they have these vests on, like reflective vests. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And I can see that they're like, oh no. And then you realize, like, you see the sign. You see someone holding a sign. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. When the sign has to be held by a person. Yeah.
They're doing the thing where they're collecting money at the stoplight.
Oh, God. What is this?
Yeah. You've never seen that where people will.
Not in their vests. A lot of times it's
panhandlers.
Yeah.
Panhandlers will. They kind of occupy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they occupy the median, and then when the light turns red, they come by the car with the sign, and I don't know like what to do. I freeze up. I don't want to engage with them because I don't want to make. Then I feel like a jerk. Like, how bad is it? I'm not even acknowledging this person's existence.
Right. Maybe if I look like I didn't notice them.
Of course. What? Oh, I don't know.
Oh crap! If I had seen you there.
Oh, this glass is hard to see through. I don't know what to. But that's not this situation. These are professionals, and I can't tell exactly what they are. I couldn't even tell what they were collecting, because then the light changes, so they kind of scoot out of the intersection.
Right.
But I noticed that the one person was carrying a boot.
Oh, and they're collecting in the boot. Then I noticed
the thing that the people were putting money in. It was a boot. And then I noticed, it's the fire. It's the firehouse.
Yeah,
it's the firemen.
I've seen that. Yeah.
But I've never seen them do it but they're not volunteer fire department. I mean, the fire department is right there. The firehouse is right there, where they were right close to where they were doing the panhandling, or shoe handling, boot handling.
Yeah.
And they're not. That's not a volunteer firehouse. It's a county firehouse.
They should be
paid by taxes. What? I don't.
Well, considering what teachers have to go through, even though they're supposedly funded,
I don't understand what I would.
They just needed pizza money or something.
Huh?
They just need pizza money or something.
So I'm wondering, is it for the groceries?
I'm out of cash. We want some pizza. Let's just we'll go out there and get people to give to us.
Just like gambling. We need some gambling money. Come on. I'll give. Bring the boot. Bring the boot. Bring the boot. I
got what we're going to do. Charlie, take your boot off. Watch this. I just give you money. Put your helmet on. They love that.
Charlie, you got to take your boot with you, because if we get called, you can't come back in for your boot. You got to have the boot with you.
You got to put a boot on, and it's got like $30 and change and stuff in there. Like, man, this sucks.
That's the other thing I had in my head. The image I had in my head was at the end of the night. I can only imagine it's like Halloween. Like, they go into the kitchen, and they turn the boot upside down, and all the candy comes rushing out, and they have to pick through it.
It's like money and stuff in there, but then somebody is like put a napkin in there. And so there's like 3 ketchup packets in there. Like, hey, so we got to stop doing this at night.